Hello, and welcome back to Teach Me in 10, your gateway to insightful interviews and teachings with experts, all condensed into just 10 minutes. And in today's episode, we're joined by Sandra Sonderholm and Yoni Orca from Sartorius. Yoni serves as a product manager in liquid handling, and Sandra is an application development scientist in the same field. And together, we'll all be exploring the exciting world of connected electronic pipettes. So, without further ado, let's dive right on in. Hi both, how are you doing?
Hi, Lucy. Really glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you.
Perfect. And so, as we only have 10 minutes on the clock, we best get started. So, Yoni, how do connected electronic pipettes differ from traditional pipettes?
In their core, connected electronic pipettes are just like any other electronic pipettes, but the big difference is obviously the connectivity. It means that you can connect those pipettes into an external system, which might be a mobile device, tablet, computer, just to name a few examples.
Perfect. And then, Sandra, could you elaborate on the key features that really make connected pipettes stand out?
Yeah, of course. So with connected pipettes, you can execute pre-programmed pipetting protocols or workflows without really the need to adjust the pipette before each step. So things such as volume or speed and the mode on the pipette, they are set automatically.
Perfect. And then, what role would you say that connectivity plays in enhancing the efficiency and reliability of lab workflows?
Yeah, so this is really important. So connected pipettes, they can receive and execute a pre-programmed step. So this means that the pipetting steps, they are always done the same way, no matter when or who is actually pipetting. So you can be sure that the pipetting operations, they're always the same. Plus, that when you work with plates, for instance, in the lab, implemented plate tracking prevents you from pipetting into the wrong well, which is really very useful.
Perfect. And then, Yoni, how do these pipettes ensure data traceability and compliance even?
Yeah, that's definitely a second very important point in addition to the helping the user do it, is to make sure afterwards that what you've done is correct. So all these steps, they are recorded, and then you can get a log file afterwards from every workflow that you prepared. This is some information that has never been available before, at least on an electronic form. So in the past, you have your lab notebooks where you write what you've done, but now you also have this electronic record that proves that you actually did those steps with these pipettes. This helps you down the line if you need to go back to a certain assays and make sure that it was performed the same way as the other ones.
Perfect. And then from that, Sandra, what security measures are in place to protect sensitive experimental data, for example?
Yeah, so no sensitive experimental data is recorded really when you're working with connected pipettes, except like your own notes that you are adding during or when you finish the workflow. Pipettes themselves, they don't really record any information about the experiment, except for what we already discussed regarding like the pipetting operations. But so, and also important part is that in the case of, for instance, Sartorius solution, your own account is protected with a password. This is usually the case for many other similar solutions. But when it comes to the like mobile device or whatever you're hooking up on which the application is running, so that the connection between it and the server is usually secured, and then on the server and normal security policies and audits, they are also in place.
Perfect. And then finally, as we're almost out of time, how do connected electronic pipettes address common challenges like user training, maybe maintenance, and calibration to ensure consistent performance over time?
Yeah, electronic pipettes, they are really a perfect companion for any of the labs that have schedules in place because they have built-in reminders. They kind of enforce the rules that you already have in place. They give the user a reminder that you should not use me before you calibrate me or send me for service. In addition, electronic pipettes, they reduce user-to-user variance by the nature, as a lot of the mechanical steps that a user might perform with a mechanical pipette, they're taken away to the electronic system, which controls the piston movement and the amount of liquids to be transferred. In addition, connected electronic pipettes, they provide you step-by-step instructions, which is very crucial, especially when onboarding a new people into the lab. The studies have shown that even a very little experience, if you have a very little experience, you might be very comfortable in even complicated assay if you get step-by-step instructions.
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for joining this Teach Me in 10 episode. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you both.
Thank you,
Thank
Lucy, for
you.
having us.
Thank you for tuning in to another Teach Me in 10 episode. Be sure to explore the additional resources that we've linked below, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.